What's going on, guys? It's Michael from GPURisers.com, back here again in the bunker, and today we are going to be focusing on our RTX 3090 rig. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be using our gimbal. A gimbal kind of just stabilizes a camera. I've yet to figure out how to properly hold it while walking around and have it stabilized, but right now I just have it on a tripod, and let me know what you guys think. I know I did this in a video prior, but I think I'm going to start using this in everyday videos. So just to get used to it, I'm going to practice with it in today's video. You can see our RTX 3090 rig right over here. That's 4 3090s. We do have our first rig that we built up here in the corner. That one has 8 3090s on it currently, and we are having very bad overheating issues. As you can see, they are kind of spaced out a little bit, but they are on these 12 card frames that we have, but it's just not enough room, it's not enough space for them. Almost all of them are overheating. I'll go ahead and post a screenshot right now so that you guys can see what 8 of 3090s are doing. As you can see, there are overheating issues. I'm gonna go ahead and switch screens to our second 3090 rig, the one that's over here. I'll move the camera over to it. This rig over here has 4 3090s on it, and it's having, as you can see, 0 overheating issues. We are going to be repadding them. I know a lot of people comment on the other videos, and it's almost like a known thing in the community at this point to repad. We will be using these G-lid pads for the 3090s that we have. These are, if you can see here, 15 watts for thermal conductivity. 15 watts is the most that I could find. And as these Zotacs run pretty hot and toasty, we will be utilizing these. However, in today's video, what our plan for now is to be putting these 2 1300 watt power supplies on each of the 3090 rigs that we currently have. Now, we picked up these 1300 watt EVGAs. They were actually for sale on EVGA's website. This rig up here has 2 1600 watt power supplies on it. We will be swapping out one of the 1600 watts with a 1300 watt power supply, and then the other rig that's over here has only one 1600 watt power supply on it, so we're just going to be adding the second 1300 watt power supply to that rig. And then we're going to have the extra 1600 watt from this rig up here, and we're going to be utilizing that and using it for a future build. Now, I know 1300 watts is a little overkill, also having a 1600 watt power supply. You really only need a 1600 watt power supply for 4 RTX 3090s. So really, we only needed, I would say, about a 800 to 850 watt power supply to properly power the 2 3090s that are going to be additional to the other 4 on each of these rigs. However, for the price point on EVGA's website with their sale, the 1300 watt power supply was a good deal. And also for future-proof reasons, we want to be able to make sure that we have enough wattage going forward for any other builds that we might move these power supplies to. So that said, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm not going to repad anything currently. I just want to be able to move 2 of these cards off of this rig and put it over onto our 4-card 3090 rig over there. And I will go ahead and post a before and after of the thermals. I know it's not going to be great, as well. I am going to actually be moving this 3090 rig down onto the second shelf. I can't really work on it up there. And I know that this 3070 rig down here was giving it issues, but with 6 cards on it, I think that we'll be okay. I know that we'll be at least better off than we are now with 8 of them jammed next to each other. So that said, like I said, I will be repadding these cards in a future video. I didn't want to do that in this video. One, just because for time reasons, I want to be able to move these cards over and get them out quicker. But also for all of you guys having thermal throttling issues, I want to make sure that you as well know how to properly replace pads on it. So I will be going in depth on that in a future video. But that said, let me go ahead and get this rig off of the top shelf over here, put onto the second shelf right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and take the 2 cards off and get these power supplies switched over, and then we can come back and talk about what the thermals are looking like and everything like that. So that said, let me go ahead and get that done, and we will be right back. All right, guys, we are back. I got one of the 1300 watt power supplies put onto this 8-card rig here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Here you can see the 1300 watt right over there. My fingers are gonna be a little blurry. As you can see, we only have 6 of them on here now. The other 2 are right here. And we are going to get these two ready right now, and we are going to put them on this rig over here that has 4 RTX 3090s on it. So what I'm going to do now is install these two others on that rig. I'm not going to show the current hash rate on this rig yet. I want it to warm up while I'm doing the other one. I want to, you know, get it to temperature where it kind of levels out, and then I can see if it's still having the thermal throttling issues. I just checked it now just to make sure it was online. I didn't see any thermal throttling, but it has only been on for about 5 minutes right now. So that said, regardless of the outcome of today, I am going to repad all of these 3090s. After I repad these 3090s, I do have a 3080 LHR rig and a 3080 non-LHR rig. Both of those are in my other mining location. I'm going to bring those here eventually, but when I do bring them over, I'm going to put them in a new frame, new case, probably swap out a couple different things, and I will get new thermal pads on them. I know a lot of you guys were commenting on the last video that was titled "My 3090s are overheating." I was just, you know, kind of reaching out to the community, seeing if you guys had those same issues, and I think the general consensus is that you just repad it no matter what. So it's really not hard to do. Like I've said, I've repadded a couple gigabyte 3080s. I did repad one 3090 in the past. So after you do the first one, the others are kind of easy to knock out. I'm just gonna have to set a day aside to do it, but like I said, I didn't want to do it in today's video. I wanted to give you guys a good breakdown on how I'm doing it, what I'm using, why I'm using it, and a full teardown basically on how to properly replace the thermal pads on these cards. Now, real quick, these thermal pads that you see here are 2 millimeters. That is just the thickness of them. A lot of different cards have a lot of different thicknesses. A majority of them, I want to say, are 2 millimeter. Some of them have a different thickness on the back plate where the memory chips are on the back. Some of those are 3 millimeters, some are 1.5 millimeters. So what I'm going to do in the video when I replace the thermal pads is I'll show you guys which cards need what size thermal pads so that you guys are able to buy the right pads for your cards. But that said, I am going to go ahead and get this 1300 watt power supply out, get it put onto our 4-card 3090 rig over here, and I will be right back. All right guys, we are back here. I got the other 2 cards from the first 8-card rig onto the other 4-card rig here. So we have a total of 6 RTX 3090s on each rig. So just real quick, if anyone has experienced this, as you can see here on our APC PDU, we are getting a blinking overload light. Now, doing some quick research on this, it does look like that this is a setting, like a threshold setting that you might be able to change when you remote in or log into the PDU. Right now, this is pulling 5400 watts. We have about 11.5 amps on each bank. Each bank has a 20 amp breaker on it, but I know if we overloaded either bank, it would trip it. So we are under that 24 amps on this 30 amp. We're close to it, but we are under it. So I think that is just a setting. I will keep my eye on that, but if any of you guys have experienced that, please drop a comment down below. So what I'm gonna do here is kind of just give you guys some numbers on what this did hash rate wise for these cards. Now, starting with our first rig here, before on this rig we were getting 882 mega hash across 8 cards. And I'll put it on the screen right now, the after, so you can see what the 6 cards are getting now. Now we're getting across 6 of these cards 714 mega hash total. So I think that is pretty good. Back to the second rig that we have here that we put the 2 cards on it, so that we have a total of 6 RTX 3090s on it. This one before was getting 120.3 mega hash across the 4 cards, and that was a total of 481 mega hash. Still learning how to use this gimbal thing. Please drop a comment down below if you guys like this style better, rather than me frantically moving around. But now I'm gonna drop a screenshot here. And this has only been running for about 5 minutes, as you guys can see if you're looking at the screen right now. Forehand, again, we were getting 120.3 across the 4 cards, and we are still getting 120.3 across all 6 of these cards now without thermal throttling issues. Now, it just so happens that over where this rig is, there is some air that's hitting it. There's less heat all around it. I don't expect these cards to thermal throttle, but if they do, I will put a note right here with the change in the hash rate that we got. But if you don't see a note up on the screen right now, it means that we are not thermal throttling on these cards. Also in the screenshot, you can see here that we're getting 720.9 mega hash on these 3090s. So real quick, I know that's a whole lot of numbers. Just to put it real simple, before we did this swap across 12 cards, we had 8 cards and 4 cards. We had 1,363 mega hash. After swapping the 2 cards from the 8 card rig onto our 4 card rig, we are now getting right at 1,435 mega hash. So the difference between the two numbers comes out at 72 mega hash. So without doing any repasting, repadding, really, that's what it is on these cards that need to be done. With 0 repadding done, we gained 72 mega hash simply by exchanging out 2 cards from the 8 card rig, making it only 6 cards, and adding those 2 cards over here to our 4 card rig, making that as well a 6 card 3090 build. So I kind of like this layout a little bit better. It's not so power hungry on one side of the bunker here. Before we had the 8 card 3090 rig here, and that took up a lot of one PDU, which took up a lot of one rack. It kind of was uneven for power distribution across the 3 different PDUs that we have here. So even if the hash rate was the same, I think it's better that these cards are split up. It's always fun doing these monster rig builds, trying to get a 1 gigahash build from 3090s, but you're going to come into so many heat issues and so many different power issues that it's just not worth it. So I'm really happy with the 2 6 card 3090s. Again, of course, these do need to be repadded. I am getting still thermal throttling on the first rig. So, and just for longevity purposes, for heat purposes, for everything, I think it's just better that these cards are repadded. But I am going to, again, do the repadding in another video so that you guys can see how that is done. But again, I'm happy with how this turned out. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. Please drop a comment down below. I'm interested in seeing how you guys handle this. I used to think consolidation was the biggest thing. It was, the best way to do this. But, with the thermal throttling issues that I'm coming into, I'm realizing that that's not always the case. And that is especially important with these RTX 3090s. After, separating these out, I think I'm going to go ahead and separate out my other 3080 rig. I only have 6 of them on there. However, they are kind of smushed together almost like this 3070 Ti rig that you see here. I kind of staggered them so the heat doesn't shoot up into one, the card above it. But I think I'm going to actually just space these out like I did with the 3090s, give some more airflow in between the cards, and just see if it works out and gives it a better memory temperature along with a better core temperature. But again, guys, that's going to be everything for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. I'll keep you guys updated with the thermals if anything changes, and I will do, again, a video on repadding these things. But until then, I hope everyone watching this has a great rest of their day, and we'll see you guys next time.